Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at the updates to the patch 7.1 special site. This is take two for me because I forgot to turn off my Twitch bells and whistles before, so I've looked at it a little bit. I've looked at like one or two images of it, and it's just more clear stuff from what we've seen from the live letter. This was basically updated right around the time the live letter, I think it was, may have been while the live letter was still running, but if not, like right as it ended. So early this morning. So we're going to take a look, see if we can get some better looks at some of the images from there, maybe some better looks at the gear, because as I was saying in take number one, we can only deal with those white sheets of paper and the details we can get from those so many times. Especially, there was a lot of really bright gear and like character bits, and I just like couldn't see them super clearly. So on top of it, already not being the best of modes. So first change to the special site, the trailers here. I uploaded a separate video for reacting to both the Japanese and English trailers, so we're not gonna, watch that again. This first little bit here with the MSQ, we've seen all of these images already, so there's not much to really say. And then we get into Echoes of Vana'diel. Now let's go back to the first image where I'm supposed to be when I started this. This is the image we already had on the site. However, the remaining 4 images are all brand new. First, we have Juno. This is, I wish it would just stay here. I'll just click it. There we go. They got it full screened anyway. So this first image, the new image we have is of Lower Juno. I did an entire walkthrough of this town actually on my YouTube channel. If you want to go watch that video, it was fun to just kind of breeze through and check it all out again. Even discovered some quests that I didn't remember existed. Now, this is invoking a lot of images of what is known in Final Fantasy XI as, funnily enough, Dynamis. It was an endgame zone that took place inside of the city-states, but Juno's wasn't present here. Juno's was actually present in Rewritten Gardens, where all of the higher powers lived in Juno and operated. So seeing Juno like this is a little bit different. It's also not entirely the same because there's like a whole bunch of destroyed sections in the back, and there's an arena floating in the middle in front of like the main part of Juno, which you can see, towering over in the back. But otherwise, a pretty nice recreation, much more lively, a lot more details than the original Juno, expected especially after the graphical update. But this is just one of several locations that we're actually going to, as we learned in the trailer. Another one is the area known as the Rewritten Gardens. This is an area known as Sky to the Final Fantasy XI enthusiasts and players. And this was the first major endgame area. Basically, towards the end of the Rise of Xylard expansion, you came here and there's a whole lot of endgame activities for you to do in this area. I thought this was going to be in the second set of raids, but it's not. It's actually going to be present here. Now, I know then some people are going to be like, oh, are we going to see Byakko and Seiryu? They were present here. Kirin as well. But no, the Archangels actually appear to be featuring as a boss again, as per the trailer, which was a big surprise. I'm wondering if the trailer shows the bosses in the order of Prish, Archangels, Fafnir, and Shadow Lord. That's the order? I wonder if that's the order they'll show up. It also makes sense because Juno here is where Prish is. She's actually on the arena in the back, although she's really hard to see from here. Then if this is next, then, going straight to, Rewritten Gardens would be pretty interesting. Then we have an image of Prish, who, again, I don't know why they felt the need to give her all these extra details. Like, don't get me wrong, I could totally see Prish, like, if she had the ability to do this in 11, it's within character to imagine that she would. But we also see her without all the bells and whistles in the Crossroads artwork, so it's just a bit strange how she gets this like big girl, like magical transformation, especially when we do see her at seemingly normal size in the trailer itself. So I'm looking forward to this being explained. I'm wondering if the part where we see her with Bakul Jaja takes place before this, or if she's like testing us to see if we can like take care of the rest of this. So she wants like a round with us before we really get going with everything. All totally in character for Prish. So at the very least, they've got the characterization. She's laughing at you, making fun of you during the fight. She's just having fun. So I'm glad that they've gotten some of the more major character details right off the get-go. Very, very much her Dissidia personality, especially. Another interesting detail, in the trailer we didn't see this, but the arena actually has spikes along the outside. So she's going to be warping the arena at the very least to some capacity. We know you can also be knocked off of the arena, but we didn't see that in the trailer. So that's, and yeah, look at how much smaller it is. You can see all the people crammed together here as she's winding up this punch for one of her attacks. So that'll be fun. Now, speaking of the Archangels, this armor set is representative of the Archangels. Now, each of them had their own set. There was Archangel Elvon, Archangel Hume, Archangel Mithra, Archangel Tarutaru, and Archangel Galka. And these were their armor sets approximately. Now, the Galka would be a Rewritten equivalent for Final Fantasy XIV. He was a samurai. They're each technically 2 jobs, but, you know, samurai is really the outward presentation of the Galka. So for the Rewritten, that's the striking armor on the right-hand side. You can actually see 2 similar-ish looking armor sets here. Not that surprising. The middle right, this person, that is the Hume set. That should be Ninja. He was Ninja Sub-Warrior, but, you know, he's Ninja. Come on. This is the Elvon looking set. So that is almost certainly going to be the tank set, seemingly shared with one of the other classes as well. Probably the maiming set as well. Now, I say that, but then we have the Beastmaster, which is what the Mithra was. That could also be the maiming set, I suppose, because I assume, well, I have to assume one of these sets is like a healer set, because like this is the caster set. This is the Black Mage set. I don't even need to tell you that's the Black Mage set. Like, obviously. Archangel Tarutaru was Black Mage and Dark Knight, I believe. What was he? Was he Black Mage, Dark Knight? I don't remember. He had a scythe. So that's always this. But yeah, actually, you know what? That makes sense. Archangel Paladin, the Archangel Elvon is a Paladin and a White Mage. So actually, that kind of does make sense if the Paladin set is also the White Mage set. That's, I didn't really consider that because she outwardly presents as Paladin. So that actually would make sense for the Archangel EV set. Now, these do, of course, have 2 die channels. We did get to see that during the live letter itself. And I think they look a lot better here than they look, again, in the image stretched out in front of us. So, largely enjoying it. And then they also are in Ruan Gardens here. So to take the picture, that is where the Archangel fight takes place, specifically in the arena that's inside there, not outside like this, but it's finer detail. And then, you know, this is the last image, but, you know, there was other stuff in the trailer as well to pull from. And then, of course, this is the same description, the pile that is settled over Yaktel. That's all from before. The Uiwata Field Station, all of this was the previous time that we looked at it. We have Sven's Burden, which doesn't have any new images. This was also here the last time we looked at the site. And then we have Futures Rewritten Ultimate. This was added in. And the description is the big thing we want here. Now, in case you are wondering and haven't watched the trailer, yes, that is Mitron's symbol over Reen, Shiva in this case. She basically gets, I don't know if you want to say possessed, taken over, whatever you want to say, during her Shiva transformation at the start of Ultimate. So that's going to be their kind of like explanation for things going a little bit more awry, going areen. Anyway, like a river, the future winds in boundless ways. A single ripple may alter the course of its flow, and as one ripple leads to another, myriad are the possibilities. So it is in this land once blighted by the flood of light, where the resistance of many gave way to a morrow blessed by the night sky. If similarly, the future wrought by 2 young women were but one of countless possibilities, what other forms could their morrow have taken? Fascinated by such visions, the wandering minstrel weaves a ballad of futures rewritten. Doesn't really say a whole lot. Obviously, it's playing on the fact that if anything had gone different, what would have happened? And obviously, Mitron getting a hold of Shiva, who, by the way, is also technically an Oracle of Light and can cause a second flood of light, which is a major mechanic as part of the actual story and as part of the Savage as well. Yeah, probably not great when that can occur. I can imagine that's not the greatest thing to let Mitron get his hands on. Then we go on to the Chaotic Cloud of Darkness. As we could see during the live letter, you can see there is the main Cloud of Darkness from the original Final Fantasy III from the World of Darkness raid. And then you have the 2 smaller Eden-based Cloud of Darknesses, which is, it'd be hilarious if they were also a part of Futures Rewritten. They won't be, but, that'd be funny if Cloud of Darkness was just popping up everywhere. Now, this is an image that I have been looking forward to. We actually got this is a screen from the trailer, but I couldn't really see it clearly enough. And I'm glad to see that some predictions I made are coming true. And there's some additional things that I definitely had not foreseen. Number one, I had predicted that there would be basically either, I guess it's not entirely the same way I predicted it, but basically those are the particle rays coming out of what looked to be like Cloud of Darkness-esque clones. Not exactly the same. It looks like their models are a little bit different, but those are similar animations to what we get with Cloud of Darkness. So you can see on the left-hand side, one goes straight through the arena, and then the left and right of it are safe, and then you have a little bit of time to get into the tower. On the right-hand side, you can see that it hits everywhere except right in front of them, and then they have the space right in the middle. It does also look like there's I don't know if that's just the animation being closer to the screen, but this looks like a little donut AoE right here. And it even looks like it's facing this direction. So I wonder if this is doing, oh yeah, you can actually see the model right here. So that might also be doing, maybe not a half room. That would be kind of strange. But yeah, you can see that there's definitely a hitbox here that's only for the sake of a mechanic, and it's facing this way. They could be doing that for, like, I would think for the half room, but this is a really weird angle, unless it's player baited and they screwed this up. That's always possible. That's player baited, and like in this screenshot, they're just kind of running around like headless chicken, so it's facing it the wrong way. And thus, this would actually murder the entire team, guaranteed. There's a lot of possibilities. But you would use that hitbox generally for Art of Darkness in E9. Like, I can't really imagine much another reason to use that hitbox in that spot. We can also see a handful of other things here. We can see that there are indeed teleporting platforms. Now, I'm assuming those will actually not kill you if you try to fly over to the center of the arena again. And I'm noticing that the outer ring is indeed part of the mechanics. So I'm guessing that people on the outside are going to have to teleport to the inside. And it doesn't look like they're on everybody, but there's at least a few people that are going to get sent from the outside back to the inside at some point. The question will be, you know, how strict is it going to be about where they land, about what platform they're going to be on? You can see there's a player on this platform right here, and there's another player that's about to land on that platform from their teleport. You can see a player here. You can see you can see one player in this tower. It's just kind of all over the place. You can see somebody looks like they're almost bound over here on the left-hand side. And then you can see the Atomos are tethering to individual players. In another image we saw, it looks like the Atomos each tether to a separate player. It looked like there were 4 of them total. It's also possible that there's multiple configurations of this mechanic, and we're only seeing one of the 2 possibilities. But this is basically an image from slightly later on to what we saw months ago. This is the exact same mechanic that I was dissecting months ago. There's just some additional pieces that are present here that, with the visual clutter, it still leaves a handful of questions, but there should be just enough towers and just enough people for 24 people. It's the sheer number of people that are on the outside versus the number of people on the inside. So we're missing what the setup for this, the start setup for this phase actually ends up looking like. I sincerely doubt you're going to send the majority of people to the outside. However, with the teleporting mechanic, it is entirely possible. It's also possible that people on the inside will need to teleport outside and people outside teleport inside to make go both which ways. But still another cool screenshot to dissect. And then we have this. This is actually a quick screenshot of the very first phase. And we now know that that's the first phase because it's shown off during the live letter, where it's basically like a small pizza slice. A few people get debuffs and she eventually holds up a crystal. All of the glyphs and everything may have some bearing on the mechanics. We didn't really get to see that. Looks like she's outstretching just one of the hands. The other hand is just kind of, I can't tell if it's in the air or it's, I think she's doing this. It looks like almost, because otherwise I don't know where that other hand is. No, I don't think that's not her hand. That's just like the model behind her. Yeah, it just looks kind of weird. Where is her other hand? I genuinely don't see her other hand. Well, the effects just don't work well for my eyes. Maybe the other hand isn't there. Maybe it's behind her back. I don't know. I can't see it. But you can at least see the one outstretched hand. Yeah. So, because I don't think this is her. That maybe this is her hand. But then where is it? I don't know. The point is, there's not really a whole lot to take away. It's possible that these orbs lighting up behind her are going to blast particle rays, and one of them's a little further out. There's also the Sage mechanic here. The Sage doing like a Toxicon or something, or the start of a Toxicon animation, or oh no, I think they're putting a shield on this tank is what they're doing. So I was like getting confused about that. There's so much. There's a lot happening. Unless, yeah, I don't know. There's a lot happening in these images. Very much looking forward to that. That's not going to be till December 24th. Thanksgiving Ultimate, Christmas Chaotic. Oh boy. Our new Unreal is Byakko. This is just added here. There's nothing else to really say about it. Byakko's Byakko, and have fun. The Hall of the Novice update. This is actually a preview of the third encounter for the new Hall of the Novice update. So there's 3 different stages. The first one teaches you like stack, spread, tank mechanics, and a handful of other things. The second one teaches you about other unique styles of mechanics like gaze attacks, and they showed off a handful of other things that it does. But the third one, Yoshi P said, actually might be moderately challenging for some people. So I'm assuming this is part of the third bit of the challenge. And I'll make a video on it. Why not, right? New Hall of the Novice stuff's going to be really cool. And then other than that, it should just be whatever, like in the media section, you know, go to the media section, and it's just going to be all the images that we like already have that they just added. So yeah, it's just, you know, more of the same thing. But I'm glad to get another look at the armor. Now, one thing I really wish they had uploaded, and they'll probably upload it later, the chaotic armor sets. So we got to see them during the live letter. One of them's very Diablos looking, and the other one, I don't know what to compare it to, but it's there. And there's a lot of questions about like, so we actually do get to see some of the sets here, and you can kind of see, like, it looks like the healer set. I know I'm kind of blocking it here. Let me move myself like where there's no party members, I suppose. Yeah. So like I'm not really blocking. Hi. Hey, I'll be down here. That's fine. Yeah. So you can see that like there's the healer set. That's very similar to the other set we saw before. You can see the Diablos-esque set over here as well. This person I think is also wearing one that's very, yeah, you can see one person wearing a Diablo. You can see like the cape is different here. It's just hard to tell with all the effects. There's another set over on the left. Darn it. This set right here, I can't really tell what that is. Like I can see the Diablo's helm right here on this person's head. This person's too far away for me to, it might just be like dyed a weird color because I don't see the cape. It's got kind of like a tail hanging off the end, but this is where my specialties are not very good. Especially because the only image that we had of some of the armor sets, it was on a white background. So like imagine this set the healer is wearing, but on a white background. So like I don't even have like, I feel like I haven't even seen the full set during the live letter itself to like really judge like what the difference is. So it's a little bit rough for me at the very least. We can see it another one over here. Again, this looks very much like the armor set from that we saw. So I'm wondering if it's just like 2 armor sets and they just have like different names. Like all the Diablo sets are like maybe slightly different, but they're like striking, maiming, scouting, fending, aiming. And then like the other set, dude, knowing my luck, aiming is going to get the healer looking set. It's really just this Dragoon. Like this Dragoon is the only thing that's really throwing me off. Because they just look a lot different than everyone else, and they're too far away for me to really see any details. So I was kind of hoping they would upload the images here. They probably will sometime in December, you know, when this is closer to actually coming out. So it's going to be a while before we get a better look at the armor sets that come from the chaotic. Anyway, just wanted to go over what was on the site, share my thoughts on some of this stuff, you know, more 11 history. You know how I like to do. But that's going to be a wrap for this video looking at the updates to the special site for 7.1. Be sure to like and subscribe and stay tuned. I've got plenty of stuff planned for November and December, which I think goes without saying. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, take care.